yoga session. So today's class is themed for Mental Health Awareness Week, which is this week. So the theme of today's class is just kindness. So it's about being kind to yourself, and that is both physically and mentally. So as always, I ask you not to push yourself to places that your body doesn't want to go. So just really bearing that in mind today. So just thinking about really being kind to your body, being kind to your mind, not forcing, and just really just breathing into the poses, into the postures, and just doing everything with a nice big smile on your face. So as always, you don't need anything at all apart from your body. If you do have a yoga mat, then that is great. Just roll that out now. If not, then just finding a nice soft surface, so a blanket, a rug, or a carpet. So as well as the physical practice of yoga, there's also the mental practice, the internal practice, and the practice about being kind to yourself in everyday life. So we practice the physical aspect of yoga on the mat, and then hopefully we take what we learn on the mat about being kind to ourselves off into our everyday life. So again, that's just something to think about. That's just something to bear in mind during and after today's class. So we're just going to start in a nice comfortable seated position. So as always, if you've got any cushions or pillows that you want to sit on just to elevate your hips, just to prop yourself up a little bit, then just grabbing that now. If not, then just coming down, either taking the knees to one side, like I'm sat here now, if that's more comfortable, or just taking one foot in front of the other, maybe crossing the legs, just whatever's comfortable for you, just settling in. So just any movements here. So it's sometimes really nice just to shift the fleshy parts to one side and just really ground down into the seat bones. So just taking a couple of movements, either taking the hands to the knees, so you can take them palms down, palms up, take the hands into the lap, or maybe placing the hands across the chest, across the heart, just so you can feel as you breathe. And then just closing the eyes off here, we're just going to try and find some stillness just for a few moments. So again, any last movements that you need, and then just finding that stillness. So sitting up nice and tall, and then just starting to settle into the pose. Just arrive into the body. So just noticing any feelings, any tensions or tightnesses within the body. And then just gently bringing the attention to the breath. So soften through the shoulders, the face, the jaw. And then just breathing here. So breathing in and out through the nose. Maybe feeling the ribs, the chest expand as you inhale. Maybe the shoulders rise a little bit. Then as you exhale, completely letting go, completely letting go of anything that you don't need anymore. So as we inhale, we breathe in new air, new life into the body. As we exhale, we release anything that we don't need, anything that's stuck, anything that's stagnant, just let it go. So just taking a few more breaths here together. Take one last breath. Then if you are seated on a cushion or a prop, then just gently taking it to one side. Take the hands to the knees if they're not there already. We're just going to work through a few rounds of seated cat and cow. So a lot of the poses that we're going to do today, we're going to be really opening the chest area, opening the heart area, again encouraging that self-kindness, that self-compassion. So just thinking about that as we're moving through. So as we inhale, just gently lift the chest, start to arch into the lower back, shoulders draw back. Then as we exhale, round the shoulders, draw the navel back into the spine, maybe tilting back on the hips. So inhale, lift. Exhale, round. We're just going to do 2 more. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. These movements can be as big or as small as you wish. Exhale, round. Coming back to center. Just gently taking the head and the neck over towards the right hand side. So right ear comes towards right shoulder. Just taking that right hand to the left ear, just gently guiding it down. If you want to deepen the stretch, then you can take the left hand out to the side and just gently press it back towards the back of the room, just deepening that stretch. Again, just taking it as far as is comfortable. And release, come back to center. Same on the other side, so left ear towards the left shoulder this time. Pick up that left hand, take it to the right ear, gently just deepening that stretch. Again, maybe taking that right hand out to shoulder height, just pressing it back gently. And coming back to center. Tucking the chin down towards the chest, so this time really lengthening through the back of the neck. And then take chin over to right shoulder. Take chin over to left shoulder. And then just carry on with a neck circle. So trying to relax the shoulders. Notice if any tightness has crept back into that jaw. Just release. And stop and pause at any point if it feels good. Then when you've taken a full circle, just gently taking it back the other way. Noticing any differences in this side. Maybe there's an area that just needs a little bit more. And then coming back to center. So just gently starting to take some circles with the torso and the body now. So just making these circles as big or as small as you want. Again, maybe leaning back into the hips, leaning forwards. Just putting a little bit of movement as well into the shoulders if that feels good. So you can make these circles small, so staying sitting up. You can make these circles really big, coming all the way down and all the way back, or you can just do whatever feels good for your body. There's absolutely no right or wrong here. This is just working into all those areas that feel tight, that feel tense. Again, maybe it feels good just to pause for a moment somewhere. Then just taking it back round the other way. Maybe just close the eyes and just get lost in the movement. Just whatever feels good this morning. And then just keep breathing. And then come back to center. Bring the hands together at heart center. Take an inhale, float the hands up. Exhale, palms down, float the hands down by the sides. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, hands up. This time, exhale, right hand to the back of the body, left hand to the outside of the right knee, gently twist over the right shoulder. So sitting up nice and tall on the spine, gently inhale, create some space, some length in the spine, and then exhale, just twist into that space. One more inhale. Exhale. So on an inhale, come back to center. On an exhale, take it round the other way. So left hand to the back of the body this time, sitting up nice and tall, chest open. Inhale, length. And then exhale, twist, gently taking the gaze over the shoulder if you can. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Just take one more round of breath. Inhale. Exhale, back to center, float the hands up. Hands come down to heart center. Gently coming over onto all fours, so coming into your tabletop position now. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, hands are shoulder width apart. Nice neutral spine, so engaging into the core here. From here, take the right leg back just to hip height. Take the left hand forward to join. Reaching hand forward, reaching leg back. Just being careful to support that lower back. Stay here if that's enough, or just bend into this right knee. Take the left hand out and see if you can catch hold of that right foot. If you can, just lifting that chest, lifting that leg. So creating a tiny bend in the back, opening the chest. Stay here for one breath. Inhale. Exhale, release. Come back to center, just resetting here. Then taking left foot out behind. Taking right hand out to join. So reaching again with the hand and the feet away from each other, lengthening the body. If you can, bending up into that left leg. Seeing if you can catch hold of that leg. If you can, then just pressing hand into foot, foot into hand. Lifting the chest again, bending into that lower back slightly. Inhale. Exhale, release, good. This time, just coming forwards on the hands, lowering chest and chin all the way down to the mat. Taking the hands underneath the shoulders. Taking a couple of rounds of our Cobra Pose. So trying not to put too much weight into the hands here. The feet are about hip width apart. We're just going to inhale and start to peel the chest, the shoulders away from the floor here. Exhale, floating back down. Inhale, lifting up. Try not to bunch the shoulders up by the ears, but relax them down the back. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Tuck the toes here. We're going to send the weight back towards the heels. We're going to come up into our downward dog. So maybe stepping those feet in very slightly. Pressing into the hands. We're going to keep the knees bent to start, really concentrating on lengthening through the spine here. So keep the knees soft, keep the spine nice and long. Take the gaze between the ankles or the knees. Then from here, you're going to gently start to lower the left heel down towards the floor, keeping the right knee bent. So left heel comes down slowly. And then switch it out, so lift the left heel, try and drop the right heel. One more time, lift the right, lower the left. Lift the left, lower the right. And then just finding some stillness in your downward dog. So maybe both heels come down this time. Maybe the knees stay bent and the heels stay lifted. Whatever works for your body. Take 2 breaths here. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. I'm going to step the right foot between the hands. I'm going to drop down onto the left knee and find a low lunge position. So keep it close, keep it high if you need to, up on the knee, or maybe just shuffle that left knee back a little bit. Just starting to lengthen into the left hip flexor. Clasp the hands at the base of the spine, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the chest. So really opening out across the front of the shoulders and the chest. Maybe seeing if you can take those hands a little bit further away from the body. If not, just keep them nice and close. Aim them down towards the left heel. Lift the chest here. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands, straightening the front leg, coming into a half split. Flexing the toes up towards the ceiling. Walking the hands back if you need to. So really flexing those toes, lengthening through that right hamstring. Inhale. Exhale, bending into the knee, both hands either side of the right foot. Tuck the toes, step back, downward dog. Take a breath to reset. Inhale. Exhale, left foot forward this time. Drop down onto the right knee. So just make any adjustments. So maybe moving that knee in to make it a bit of a higher lunge. Or just staying here. This time clasping the hands, pressing them onto the top of the knee. And just lifting the chest again. Trying to keep that tailbone tucked under, just so we're not dumping into the lower back. So we're opening across the chest, but just being careful not to dump into that lower back. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands. Gently start to straighten into that left leg. Flex the toes, lengthen through the hamstring. Keep the chest lifted. Inhale. Exhale, one more breath. Inhale. Exhale, bending back into that front knee. Frame the foot, step back, downward dog. Take a breath. Inhale. Exhale. This time we're going to step the right foot forward, drop down onto the left heel. We're going to windmill the hands up and rise up into our warrior two. So really bend into that right knee, grounding into the outer edge of the left foot. Take the hands to shoulder height and just take the gaze forward over the right hand. So we're really opening out the hips here, relax the shoulders. So just give them a big roll. Send the shoulder blades down the back. Just taking the gaze really softly over the middle finger of that front hand. Seeing if you can take the bend a little bit deeper. Take a breath, inhale. As you exhale, take the right forearm to the right thigh. Reach up and over, finding your side angle. Looking up to the top hand if you can, or just taking the gaze straight down. So we're really lengthening into that left hand side. Inhale. Exhale. This time, taking the left hand to the back of the left leg, reaching up and over, finding your reverse warrior. Keeping that bend in the right leg, open out the chest here. Taking that hand back. Inhale. Exhale, finding your warrior two. One more time, take a breath. Inhale. Exhale. You're going to turn the toes in on the front foot here. Turn the toes out on the back foot, coming into your warrior two on the opposite side this time. So nice deep bend in the front knee, grounding into the outer edge of that back foot. So really opening out into the hips, taking the hands just to shoulder height, roll the shoulders again, relax the shoulder blades down the back. Take the gaze over the fingers on the left hand. Take a breath, warrior two, inhale. Exhale, find your side angle. So forearm comes to thigh, reaching up and over. So lengthening all the way into the right hand side of the body. Take the gaze up to the right hand if you can. If not, then just straight down towards the floor. Inhale. Exhale, reverse your warrior. So right hand to the back of the right knee. Reach up and over with the left hand. Open up the chest. Again, this is really about opening up the chest instead of dumping into the lower back. Take a breath, inhale. Exhale, find your warrior again. Inhale. As you exhale, turn the toes in on the left foot. Just keep the right toes where they are, coming into a wide stance from here. Clasp the hands at the lower back, lift the chest. From here, hinge from the hips, taking a wide forward fold. So keeping the hands clasped, trying to keep the heels of the hands together if you can. Just taking that fold, releasing the shoulders. Take the gaze between the legs if you can. Inhale. Exhale. Take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Gently start to rise back up to standing. Seeing if you can keep those hands clasped together. When you get there, just lift the chest and the chin one more time. And then release. Bring the hands together at heart center. Step right foot into left, coming to the top of the mat. Just finding a balance here together. So we're going to come into our tree pose. So picking a level that's right for you. Start by taking the weight into the right foot. Come up onto the toes on the left foot. You can start here by just placing that left foot against the right ankle. If that's enough for you, then just staying here today. If not, then maybe exploring. So maybe taking the the left foot to the inside of the right calf, or maybe it comes up into the thigh. Wherever you are, just finding and making that connection, picking a point to focus on, bringing the hands together at heart center, just trying to calm the mind. It doesn't matter how many times you wobble, it doesn't matter how many times you fall, coming back to the pose, being kind to yourself. If you are balanced, you have found the balance, then maybe taking the hands up above the head, Maybe opening out the branches of your tree. It doesn't matter how many times you wobble, just remember that trees very rarely stand still. They're always blowing in the wind, they're always moving their branches. My branches are certainly moving right now. Just breathing here. And then bring the hands back together if you've taken them up, and bring them back to heart center. Just releasing, shaking it out. Doing the same on the other side, and just knowing that it might be completely different on this other side. So taking the weight into the left foot this time. So really concentrate on lifting this knee, this thigh. This is your base. So this is the grounding, the trunk of your tree. Pick a point to focus on, and don't ever let the eyes leave that point while you're doing this balance. Okay, so either taking the foot into the ankle, if that's enough, or into the calf, or maybe bringing it up again into the thigh. Really think about pressing the foot into the leg back into the foot, creating that bind, and then take the hands together at heart center. Again, picking that point to focus on. Even if you fall out of the pose, still keeping the eyes on that point. So we're trying to calm and balance the mind, and that then has a knock-on effect at calming and balancing the body. Again, so maybe just exploring movements with the hands. Maybe challenging yourself and trying to shut the eyes. If we take away one of the senses, you find that the other ones then try and compensate. So that can be a real challenge. So again, making any movements that you wish here. Falling out of the pose if you do, then just coming back in. Again, knowing that it might be completely different on this side. And then coming out of the pose. Shaking it off, completely leaving that pose and that posture in the past. We've done it, we've dealt with it, it doesn't matter what the outcome was. And then come to the top of the mat and find your mountain pose. So take the big toes to touch, take that gap in the heels, lift all 10 toes from the mat, spread them wide, and then ground them down into the earth. Lift up through the inner arches of the feet, so the knees, the thighs lift. Tuck the tailbone under, really engaging through this midsection. Give the shoulders a roll, take the hands by the sides, the palms facing forwards. Just close the eyes off here. So this is your mountain pose. This is your Tadasana. This is your strong, yet soft, grounding pose. Really feel the connection between the feet and the earth. Feeling the energy travel all the way up the body and leaving the body through the crown of the head. Take a deep breath here together. Inhale. Exhale. Take an inhale, float the hands up. Take the gaze to the thumbs. As you exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, lift the chest, half forward fold, hands to thighs or shins. As you exhale, plant the hands on the floor, step back, find your high plank pose. Stay here or come down onto the knees, then chest and chin come down towards the floor, elbows towards the back of the room. Inhale, lift up, finding your cobra or your upward facing dog. As you exhale, tuck the toes, downward dog. Take a breath, inhale, exhale. Bend the knees, step the feet into the hands. When you get there, lift the chest, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, rise to stand. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. We're just going to take one more round together. So inhale, the hands up. Exhale, deep forward fold. Inhale, lift the chest, half forward fold. Plant the hands, step back into your high plank, drop down onto the knees, remember if you need to. If not, chest and chin lowers down towards the ground. Inhale, onto the tops of the feet, lift the chest, up dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward dog, take a breath. Inhale, exhale, bend in the knees, jump or step the feet into the hands. When you get there, lift the chest, half forward fold. As you exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sweep the hands up. Exhale, hands come to heart. So just going to make our way down onto the floor, coming through our squat position. So just heel toe the feet just slightly wider than hip width. If you are on a mat, then just take them to the outer edges of the mat. Just guide the toes outwards very slightly. Bring the hands into heart center. We're going to sink down through a squat position. So if you need to come up onto the toes, lifting the heels here, that's fine. If not, then try and keep the heels and the toes grounded into the mat. So sinking down, imagine that you're sliding down against a wall. So we're trying to keep the chest lifted as much as we can. Sinking down, bring the hands to the inside of the knees if you can. Again, just working with your body, how deep you can go. At any point if you need to come down onto the mat, then just come down onto the mat, bring the knees into the chest and just give them a hug. If not, then stay here with me for one more breath. Inhale. Exhale, take one hand back, take the other hand back and come down onto your back, knees into chest, give yourself a hug, just rocking from side to side. So pressing the whole of the spine down into the mat. So really grounding that lower back down. And then taking the feet down to the mat, keeping the knees bent. Seeing if you can brush the backs of the heels with the fingertips. So feet are about hip width apart. We're just going to take a couple of rounds of our bridge pose here. So keeping the head and the neck neutral up towards the ceiling. Just inhale, tuck the pelvis towards the chin and gently start to peel the spine away from the mat. Feel chest rising up towards the chin. Really pressing into the feet, engaging the glutes. And then exhale, floating back down. Taking another inhale, scooping that pelvis up, peeling away. Stay here if that's enough, or maybe just taking the shoulders underneath, clasping the hands. Imagine that the hands are going down towards the heels, pressing into those feet, seeing if you can lift the hips a tiny bit more. Keep breathing here. And then on your next exhale, just undoing those shoulders, slowly rolling back down. And then heel toe, the feet to the outer edge of the mat or just wider than hip width. Let the knees knock in and just gently windscreen wiping the knees from side to side. So just releasing the hips, releasing the lower back. So just taking it as fast or as slow as feels good. And then we're just going to find our happy baby pose. So either taking the first two fingers and the thumb and taking a bind of the big toes, or taking the hands to the outer edge of the feet, just gently rocking from side to side. So imagine that you're trying to take the knees down towards the armpits. So just anything that feels good here, just completely releasing, completely relaxing and just letting go. Again, trying to really press that lower back down into the mat. And then bringing the knees into the chest again, giving yourself a hug. Bringing the nose up towards the knees, hugging everything in. Showing yourself that little bit of love. And then release. Take the legs down. Take the arms up overhead. Take a full body stretch here. So any movements, any minor adjustments that you need. And then when you're ready, take your way down into your final Shavasana. So taking the feet about hip width apart. Take the hands by the sides with the palms facing up. Just relaxing everything. Closing the eyes off here, and for the next few moments, just trying to find some stillness in the body. So this is the part in the practice where the physical downloads in the body. Anything that we've done during the last 30 minutes is in the past. It doesn't matter. This is where we let go of the ego. We let go of the judgment. We just enjoy this moment, this relaxation. So just gently bring the awareness back to the breath now. So the same way that we started the practice. Any thoughts that come into the mind, just letting them go. You can stay here for as long as you need. When you're ready to come out, just gently bringing some movement back into the fingers and toes. And taking the hands up overhead, taking a full body stretch, just like you're waking up on a new day. And then bring the knees into the chest to make your way over onto your right hand side, and just take a moment here for yourself before pressing up into a comfortable seated position. So just keeping the eyes closed for a moment, coming up into a comfortable seated position. Take the hands together at heart center. Just bow the head down towards the fingers, and just take a moment just to thank yourself for showing yourself this kindness today, for moving your body without any judgment or ego, and for taking the time out for yourself. Thank you so much for letting me guide you through this practice. Thank you for joining me this morning. I hope that you can take a little bit of that kindness that you've just shown yourself out into your everyday lives and keep it with you at all times.